Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel.
Today's video is another cooking video, and I'm going to be showing you how I make shawarma at home. If you don't know, shawarma is like one of my favorite things to eat, although I'm trying to watch how I eat it because trying to do the whole healthy eating and all that. So as we go along in this video, I'll show you the ingredients that I used, and I'll also list them in the description box and in the comments below. So this is just a couple of the things that I'm going to be using for the entirety of this video, both for the sausages, that's the meat, and also the tomato base. And then I'm also going to be using this tortilla. Is this tortilla? Yes, it's tortilla bread. I just couldn't see it from the way I was holding it in this video. Why didn't I think of? Anyway, so I'm going to be using a couple of peppers and I'm going to blend them. No tomatoes here. I don't know why I said tomato base. Anyway, so this is bell peppers. Most of them are sweet, but they're not very hot because of where I live. It's kind of difficult to find maybe habanero peppers and whatnot, so you can use whichever one that is available to you. And I'm going to also be using onions. For someone who doesn't like onions, I actually use onions to cook a lot, but I'm using it here because I'm going to be blending it, so I'm not going to see or feel it in my mouth when I'm eating. So I kept some of the bell peppers aside just to make sure that they are showing inside the shawarma, because I just didn't want everything to be blended without seeing some of the ingredients. And as you know, I like to cut my vegetables very tiny because I like when they are too big inside food. So I also added shrimp because I wanted to be a bit extra, but I diced it up a little, and shrimp smells like fish. It's not the most pleasant smell, but I'm going to be cooking it along with some chicken and the sausages. And I usually just take a cooking approach to my cooking, like a boiling approach rather to my cooking. I'm not really a fan of frying like that, so that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. So the next thing I did was to put all the sausages, the shrimp and whatnot inside a bowl or inside a pan, and then started using all my ingredients on it just so that it can marinate and make it to actually have taste and flavor. Because what I was trying to do here is to build up the flavor and whatnot, and I was kind of putting in excess because I was still going to put all these shrimp and sausages and whatnot into the blended peppers. So as we go along, I'll show you how that goes. I also added some, what is that called now? It's like pepper flakes anyway, just to make it a bit more peppery and hot for my Nigerian tongue. So I'm going to be cooking the chicken and the shrimp and the sausages now. Like I said, I like to take a boiling approach or a boiling method whenever I'm cooking because I just feel like it gives the food more taste, or that's just a personal preference. Okay, if you're going to do this, you can also add some water because you know you're going to boil. So the anyway, I stir it up a little, and then I'm going to bring, while this is on fire, I'm going to bring the other frying pan and then come and fry the blended peppers. Now, usually when you blend peppers like that, or maybe when you blend tomatoes, you usually wait for the water to dry before you start frying. But I wasn't about to start doing all that because I just wanted to do this thing quickly and leave the kitchen. So I fried it immediately and made sure that the alive, I don't know how to explain this thing, but there's this alive taste you just get when when you're cooking or when you're frying tomatoes. So I made sure that that alive taste was not there anymore. So this chicken that you can see me adding to the smaller pot is something that I've had in my fridge for a while. I usually like to cook things like this and keep them just in case, because you never know when you're going to need it. So I'm going to wait for these two to keep boiling and keep frying, and then I will come back with the rest of my commentary. Now I'm going to transfer the, I keep wanting to call this tomato. It's just bell peppers. Okay, so I'm putting them inside this pan because I want to use this particular frying pan for something else. And in the meantime, the chicken and the sausages are all done. You can see how they look. I just feel like this looks much better than frying. I just don't like the idea of frying too much. So I'm going to put very little oil here and then pour in the bell peppers and put some extra ingredients, just very little. You can use, if you want to use Maggie cubes, but honestly it's not necessary. If you want to use ginger and garlic, feel free. Anything that you deem worthy as a spice or anything that you use to cook regularly, you can put it in this mix. I also take this approach whenever I am doing like stew. Maybe if I put onions in the oil and then I would put some cubes of seasoning and whatnot. So I allowed this to fry for a bit, and then I added the chicken, the sausages, all those things, and I also added the tomato. So this kind of seems like a long method or a long approach. I'm just showing you how I do it. You don't necessarily have to do it like this. If you have an easier way to do it, sure, why not? Now I'm adding all the chicken and the the protein, okay? Adding everything inside and also adding just a little seasoning because I realized that it wasn't tasting as good as I wanted it to. So I was trying to be prudent with the bell peppers that I blended, but eventually I was just like, you know what, let me just pour everything inside. There's no point. And then I also added some extra water, but the water is going to dry off because it's going to be on fire. I just wanted the extra spices that I added to kind of be diluted a little bit so it doesn't taste too spicy or too sharp in the mouth. And then I eventually added the sausages. You can do without sausages if sausages are not your thing. So the next thing I'm going to add is these shredded carrots. I got these from Walmart. They were really cheap, but they usually always have all these expiry dates and whatnot, which is very quick. So if you're buying these kinds of vegetables, keep in mind that they expire quickly, so you have to use them as fast as possible. So I love carrots a lot and I made sure to add plenty. And then the coleslaw mix, the purple thing you're seeing is cabbage, right? It's purple cabbage, and then the white one is like regular white cabbage. And then there's also some carrots in it, but I bought carrots separately because the carrots in the coleslaw mix, they're not a lot, it doesn't really show. And I like my carrots to show. So that's why I bought that one separately. So I'm just going to keep turning and turning. I even had to add more because I didn't want the what's it called, the stuffing to be just tomatoes and chicken and all that. So I added more greens or more vegetables or more coleslaw mix, whatever you want to call it. And then initially when you add it, it kind of tastes like raw vegetables. So you kind of need to let it sit on the fire, let it marinate inside the peppers that you've blended, or if you're using a tomato base, you have to let it marinate inside so that everything actually tastes well and it doesn't taste like one side is just stew and the other side is vegetables. So I'm going to do two wraps of these. um I realized that I did not have where to put this, so I went in to find like a small mat, no, a mat, like a kitchen whatever. So I put it on top, and this was the challenging part. The challenging part is not, doing all these cutting and frying and whatnot. That's not the challenging part. The challenging part is trying to fold this thing, and I really tried, but I just couldn't get the hang of it. Eventually I told myself that I was still going to bite into this thing, I'm still going to chew it, I'm still going to go into my belly. So there's no need for me making it perfectly as long as it's just for me. So I'm not going to really show that part because I don't understand. I can't even begin to explain how I fought with this thing for at least 5 minutes, and I eventually just gave up. So held it this way, and then I put it back on the pan because you kind of want to. I don't have the shawarma machine and all that, so you want to seal the places that you folded. So I did that by putting it into the pan, and unfortunately, I accidentally burnt it, but it's fine because I'm still going to eat it regardless. I think we're all allowed to make mistakes sometimes. So this is me just pressing it on top of the pan so that it would seal itself, I guess. And then I burnt that part, which is just ridiculous. Anyway, I did the same for the sides, and when I was done, I just dished it on the plate. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for the second one, and this one I think I even got it. I think I even did a better job with this one than the first one. But anyway, that is basically it for this video, and I hope it was helpful. If you're ever planning to make shawarma or something, yeah, this is a good start. And I know this is not necessarily the Nigerian style of making it, but it's something different, and it's not one thing you'll be doing every time. So you need to embrace change. Anyway, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have any tips for me in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.